Parents deny probable cause of son's obsessive behavior. Dear Abby, my nephew, Vincent, is 16 and has had problems with obsessive hand-washing for years. I have enough professional experience to strongly suspect that he suffers from obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. My brother and his wife refuse to believe their child has a problem and will not take him to get help. My nephew's hands are chafed and raw, and his parents reprimand him for this behavior when he really needs professional help. His mother is the biggest problem. She nixes all issues that suggest a problem, and my brother will not stand up to her. What can I do? Signed, Worried Aunt in Florida. Okay, welcome to the mini story for the obsessive behavior lesson. Let's get started. Kathy always obsesses about English. She constantly worries about taking the TOEFL test. When she worries, she always rubs her hands together. They are always chafed. Her friend, Gabriel, is the opposite. He always opts to remain relaxed. He always reprimands Kathy. Kathy, stop obsessing about English, damn it! Kathy never stands up to Gabriel directly. She just says, I'm sorry, please don't be mad. Then she says, but let's go to the library now and study English, please. Gabriel always nixes this idea. Hell no, we're not studying English. Kathy feels unsettled, but she says, hesitantly, okay. However, in her head, she silently starts to review English grammar. Then she feels much better. Okay, again, this time with questions. Back to the top. Kathy always obsesses about English. Does she think about English all the time? Yes, that's right. She always thinks about English. Does she think about English in the morning? Yeah, that's right. She always obsesses about English in the morning. Does she think about English during the day? Yes, that's right. She's obsessing about English, right? Always obsesses about English. So she thinks about English in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, before she goes to sleep. She obsesses about English. Does she obsess about French? No. She doesn't care about French. She doesn't always think about French. She obsesses about English. Who always obsesses about English? Well, Kathy always obsesses about English. Does Gabriel always obsess about English? No. Gabriel doesn't always obsess about English. Kathy always obsesses about English. She constantly worries about taking the TOEFL test. Does she obsess about the TOEFL test? Yes, she's always obsessed with the TOEFL test. She always obsesses about the TOEFL test. When she worries, she always rubs her hands together. Right? She's always rubbing her hands together when she worries about English, when she obsesses about English. Because she always rubs her hands together, they are always chafed. Are her hands always red? Yes, that's right. Her hands are always chafed. The skin is always red. Is the skin always a little painful? Yeah, that's right. Her hands are always chafed, so her hands are always a little painful. The skin is painful. The skin is a little bit red. Why are her hands always chafed? Well, they're always chafed because she rubs them together when she worries. When she worries about English. Are they chafed because she washes her hands too much? No, that's not why they're chafed. Her hands are not chafed because she washes her hands too much. They're chafed because she rubs her hands together too much. They're chafed because she rubs her hands together. That's why they're red and painful. Now, her friend Gabriel is the opposite. He always opts to remain relaxed. Does he choose to remain relaxed? Yeah, that's right. He opts to be relaxed. He chooses to be relaxed. To opt to means to choose. Now, we usually use opt to with an action. Opt to run. Opt to go shopping. Opt to stay relaxed. It goes with a verb. If you're choosing two things, if you have a red phone and a blue phone, you don't say, I opt the red phone. You might say, I opt for the red phone. If you say that, then it's okay. But usually we use it with verbs. You opt to do something. I opt to buy the red phone. We would say that. That would be okay. So he opts to stay relaxed. Does Kathy opt to stay relaxed? Does she choose to be relaxed? No, Kathy does not opt to stay relaxed. She always opts to be worried. She always obsesses about English. But Gabriel opts to remain relaxed. He chooses to remain relaxed. And he always reprimands Kathy. Does he criticize Kathy's obsession? Obsession's a noun. Does he criticize Kathy's obsession, Kathy's worrying? Yeah, that's right. He reprimands Kathy. Does he tell her she's wrong, that she's doing something bad? Yeah, that's right. He reprimands Kathy. He tells her, stop obsessing about English. Damn it. Right? He reprimands her. He criticizes her and tells her she's doing something wrong. Does Gabriel reprimand his mother? No, Gabriel does not reprimand his mother. Who does Gabriel reprimand? Gabriel reprimands Kathy. Why does he reprimand Kathy? Well, he reprimands Kathy because she worries about English too much. She obsesses about English. Does he reprimand Kathy all the time? Well, no, he doesn't reprimand Kathy all the time. When does he reprimand Kathy? Well, he reprimands Kathy when she talks about English, when she wants to study English, and when she rubs her hands together. Then he reprimands her. How does he reprimand her? What does he say? Well, he reprimands her by saying, Kathy, stop obsessing about English, damn it. But Kathy never stands up to Gabriel. Does Kathy argue with Gabriel? No, she does not stand up to Gabriel. Does she disagree with Gabriel directly? No, she never says something to him. She never disagrees. She never argues. She does not stand up to Gabriel. Does Kathy stand up to other people? Well, we don't know. Maybe she stands up to other people. Maybe she will argue with her mom or her other friends. But she won't stand up to Gabriel. When Gabriel reprimands her, does she stand up to him? No, she doesn't. She does not stand up to Gabriel. He says, stop obsessing about English. Well, she doesn't argue with him. What does she say? Since she doesn't stand up to him, she just says, I'm sorry, please don't be mad. But then later she says, let's go to the library now and study English, please. Gabriel gets angry. He always nixes this idea. Does Gabriel agree with the idea? No, he nixes the idea, right? He shoots the idea down. He destroys the idea. He immediately says no. He says, no, we are not studying English. He nixes the idea. Does he nix all of Kathy's ideas? No, he doesn't nix all of Kathy's ideas. He only nixes her idea to study English. When she wants to study English, he always nixes the idea. He always says no immediately. No, we're not studying English. Does Gabriel nix Bob's idea? No. He doesn't nix Bob's idea. He nixes Kathy's idea, right? Gabriel nixes Kathy's idea, not Bob's idea. And when he nixes her idea, what does he say? Well, Gabriel always nixes the idea and says, hell no, we're not studying English. How does Kathy feel when this happens? Well, Kathy feels unsettled, right? She feels a little strange, a little uncomfortable. Does she feel very, very, very upset? No, she doesn't. She feels just unsettled, a little upset. And then when she feels unsettled, she says hesitantly, okay, it's okay. However, in her head, silently in her head, she is thinking about grammar and she is reviewing English grammar. Then she feels much better. When she says okay, does she say it strongly and quickly? No, she does not. She says it hesitantly. She stops and she starts. She's not sure. She says, oh, okay. She says it hesitantly, right? When Kathy says okay, she does not say it directly. She says it very, very hesitantly. What does she say hesitantly? Well, she says, okay, hesitantly. All right. So let's go back to the top again. And this time I'm going to pause after key phrases. Please copy my pronunciation. Remember, this is not just repeating words. Repeating words does not help. You need to copy my pronunciation. When I go up, you should go up. When I go down, you should go down. Copy my intonation very carefully. Okay, let's go to the top. Here we go. Kathy always obsesses about English. Good. Kathy always obsesses about English. She constantly worries about taking the TOEFL test. When she worries, she always rubs her hands together. They are always chafed. Good. They are always chafed. Her friend Gabriel is the opposite. He always opts to remain relaxed. He always opts to remain relaxed. Good. He always reprimands Kathy. He always reprimands Kathy. He says, "Stop obsessing about English, damn it." He says, "Stop obsessing about English, damn it." Good. Kathy never stands up to Gabriel. Kathy never stands up to Gabriel. She just says, "I'm sorry, don't be mad." Then she says, "But, let's go to the library now and study English, please." Gabriel always nixes this idea. Gabriel always nixes this idea. He says, "Hell no, we're not studying English." Kathy feels unsettled. Kathy feels unsettled. But she says, hesitantly, okay. But she says, hesitantly, okay. However, in her head, quietly, she starts to review English grammar. Then she feels much better. Okay, that is all for this mini story. Please pause now and try to tell all of the story yourself. Say it out loud, not silently. Say it out loud, speak it out loud. Try to tell all of the story using the new vocabulary and also using the correct pronunciation, the correct intonation. If this is difficult, if you cannot do it, no problem. Just listen again, listen again, listen again. Listening is most important. Okay, good luck. On to the point of view mini stories. Bye-bye. Okay, welcome to the point of view mini stories for obsessive behavior. Let's get started. Same story now with 3 different versions. The first version, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, there was a woman named Kathy. Kathy always obsessed about English. She constantly worried about taking the TOEFL test. When she worried, she always rubbed her hands together. They were always chafed. Her friend Gabriel was the opposite. He always opted to remain relaxed. He always reprimanded Kathy and said, "Kathy, stop obsessing about English, damn it." Kathy never stood up to Gabriel. She just said, "I'm sorry, don't be mad." Then she said, "But let's go to the library now and study English, please." Gabriel always nixed this idea. He'd say, "Hell no, we're not studying English." Kathy felt unsettled, but she said, hesitantly, okay. However, in her mind, she would silently start to review English grammar. Then she always felt much better. All right, let's do the next version. The next version will start with since last year. Okay, there's a woman named Kathy. Since last year, she has obsessed about English. She has constantly worried about taking the TOEFL test. When she's worried, she has always rubbed her hands together. They have been chafed every day since last year. Her friend Gabriel has been the opposite. He has always opted to remain relaxed. He has reprimanded Kathy every time she worries and has said, "Stop obsessing about English, damn it." Kathy has never stood up to Gabriel. She has always said, "I'm sorry, don't be mad at me." Then she's always said, "But let's go to the library now and study English, please." Gabriel has always nixed this idea. He's always said, "Hell no, we're not studying English." And Kathy has always felt unsettled. And she's always said, hesitantly, okay. However, in her head, she has started to review English grammar every time. Then she has always felt much better. Okay, now did you notice I used the word always a lot in that version? Always, always, always. Why? Why did I always say always? Well, it's because I'm talking about something that started in the past and has continued until now. So I want to say always because I want to make clear that I'm not talking about one specific time, right? I have a conversation here. Kathy, stop obsessing about English, damn it, right? He says this, she says that. Well, if this only happened one time in the past, we would use the simple past, right? I would say, Gabriel said, "Stop obsessing about English." Kathy said, "I'm sorry." But this is a conversation that has happened many times. They always have the same conversation since last year. So 10 months ago, they would have this conversation. And then 5 months ago, they would use the same conversation again, right? So always, almost every day, starting 1 year ago until now, they're always having this same conversation. So that's why I say has said, has always said. Always makes it more clear that it's not something that happened one time, that it's happening repeatedly, has happened repeatedly, starting last year until now. If it was only one time, it would be the past tense. But since it has happened many times, starting last year until now, then we can say has said, has done, etc. Okay. Last version begins with next year. There's a girl named Kathy. Next year, she will always obsess about English because next year she has to take the TOEFL test. Now, when she'll worry, she'll always rub her hands together. They're always going to be chafed. Her friend Gabriel will be the opposite. He'll always opt to remain relaxed. He'll always reprimand Kathy and say, "Kathy, stop obsessing about English, damn it." Kathy will never stand up to Gabriel. She'll just say, "I'm sorry, don't be mad." Then she'll say, "But Let's go to the library now and study English, please. Gabriel will always nix this idea. He'll always say, hell no, we're not studying English. Kathy will feel unsettled, but she'll say, hesitantly, oh, okay. However, in her mind, she'll silently begin to review English grammar. Then she'll feel much better. Okay, those are our 3 versions. Please pause now. Try to tell each version. So 20 years ago, since last year, and next year, 3 versions. If you can't do it, it's okay. Listen to one version again. Listen many times, then pause, try to tell that version, and then do it again with the second version, and then again with the third one. Just listen, listen, listen. Listening is the most important thing. Do not become worried and stressed about perfect grammar. Don't obsess about grammar. Don't be like Kathy, right? Don't obsess about correctness. Don't obsess about being perfect. That is not the purpose of this lesson. Listening is the number one thing you should do. If you feel relaxed, then okay, pause and try to tell each version yourself. If you feel stressed, don't do that. Just listen. Okay, that's all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hi, welcome to the commentary for Obsessive Behavior. And this is an interesting little Dear Abby letter, quite short. In fact, I was thinking about the different levels of our members. Most of you are advanced learners. You have to be advanced just to read my homepage in my newsletter and understand it. So most of you are advanced. Probably Dear Abby is pretty easy for you. But some of you are at a lower level. I would say probably an intermediate level. And for you, I think the Dear Abby lessons are much better. The article lessons, the main articles, can be very difficult for some people, especially for intermediate level learners. And some of you have complained to me, in fact, that, AJ, these articles are much too difficult for me. If that's the case, if that's true, I recommend focusing on the Dear Abby lessons and the pronunciation lessons instead. They're easier and they're shorter. So even if it is a little bit difficult, there's still not so much new language to learn like the articles can possibly be. So for the intermediate level members, I recommend focus on Dear Abby. It's a great level for you. And for the advanced learners, I recommend also using Dear Abby, but in a different way. You'll still learn some new phrases, especially casual English phrases. But you can also use it to really go deeply with some things that you may already know. Focus on the mini stories and the point of view mini stories, and really get this to go deeply by listening again and again and again, many, many times. You all know the past tense, for example. However, when you speak, many of you may make mistakes with the past tense. You may use the present tense when you should use the past. I know many of my San Francisco students do this. Now, if I give them a test, they will all do very well on the past tense. Yet, when we actually speak, they don't use it. What's the problem here? Well, the problem is knowing and doing are totally different. Knowing is a left brain activity. It's an analytical activity. It means you analyze, you break it apart, you think about it. That's one kind of knowledge. But using a language, being able to speak English fluently is a different kind of knowledge. It's more like playing a sport. Okay, you can know about basketball. You can study basketball. It does not mean you can actually play basketball, right? Studying basketball and playing basketball are totally different. Well, it's the same thing with English. Studying about English, learning the rules, conjugating verbs, taking tests, that is totally different than using English, speaking English fluently, understanding quickly, speaking quickly and correctly. Totally different than studying the grammar and taking the tests. This is why I think that obsessive test taking and obsessing about English in general is very, very bad. I have a lot of students in San Francisco, for example, who obsess about the TOEFL test. That's why my little mini story, it's kind of a joke about those students. Not a mean joke, it's a nice joke. But it's true. There are a lot of students like this. In Japan, oh my God, so many students like this. They're focused on the TOEIC or the TOEFL or the university exam or a grad school exam, but it's always a test. A lot of the people don't seem to care about actually learning English and using it. Or about countries that speak English, America or Australia or England. They're not interested in the cultures or the people or communication. It's just this damn test. And they think that if they focus on the test and they do well on the test, that means, now I can use English. Now I can speak English. And they're always very shocked that even if they get a good score on the test, when they actually try to understand Americans, for example, they can't. They can't. So many students come here to San Francisco. They have a good TOEFL exam. They go to the street and someone chats with them, talks with them at a bus stop, and they're confused and they don't know what they're saying. And when they try to talk, they speak very slowly. They can't remember. They're trying to conjugate verbs and translate. Their pronunciation is terrible, and Americans don't understand them. They try to say something, and Americans are confused. What? Huh? What? Huh? And that's a terrible feeling. I know. I had that feeling in Thailand. I would try to use Thai. People could not understand me. I became very upset and frustrated. So you have to separate these ideas. They're different. This idea of studying English, learning the rules, memorizing the grammar, and taking tests. That's one thing. And then the other thing is speaking English fluently, using it correctly, knowing the grammar deep down, feeling what is correct. Feeling, not knowing, feeling when something sounds correct and when it sounds wrong. Speaking with good pronunciation. Speaking without translating. Now that is a different kind of knowledge. It's a skill. And they don't mix very much. The test-taking, analyzing, memorizing part, it's good if you want to, get a PhD and talk about English in your own language. But it's not very good if you actually want to use English. So you've got to focus on using English. And if you want to use English well, just do not obsess about tests. The students who obsess about the TOEFL exam, for example, they're always my worst students. I mean, 95% of the time, when I have a student who is obsessed is kind of the emotion, or I can use it as a verb, to obsess. So if I have a student who obsesses, using it as a verb, who obsesses about the TOEFL exam, for example, I know they're probably going to be quite low. And I also know they're going to learn very slowly. Because if they obsess about the test, that's all they will focus on. And when they obsess about the test, it makes them use different kinds of study methods. What do? Well, they study grammar, so much grammar books. What else do? They go buy those TOEFL test books, and they take practice TOEFL tests again and again and again. And that's all they do. And that's not natural English, and it's a terrible way to learn a language in general, any language. So, in fact, their TOEFL scores do not improve a lot. Their general speaking ability does not improve at all, usually. And then what else happens? I have another person in my class who just really interested in American culture. They really like being here. and they really want to meet people, and they're excited, and wow, English is interesting, and oh, I love English movies, and oh, American books and are really kind of cool, and oh, they like certain movies and music and culture and blah, blah, blah. Those people learn very quickly. They learn fast. Why? Well, number one, they're listening a lot. They're listening to American movies all the time. They're making American friends, so they're listening to Americans speak English constantly. These people usually study on their own in a different way. They listen to podcasts. They listen to these kinds of lessons on effortless English. They listen to TV shows. That's how they study. The funny thing is that these people also improve on their TOEFL exams, and they improve faster than the people who are obsessed with the TOEFL. And that makes the TOEFL people so frustrated and angry sometimes, right? Here they are, they're studying the TOEFL exam, they're focused on the TOEFL, they're obsessed with the TOEFL. And somebody else is having fun, and the person who has fun improves faster, and they get a better TOEFL score. And they get so upset, some of these students. And they come to me, AJ, my TOEFL, I took it again, and it didn't improve very much. Why am I not getting better? And Seiko over here, she's having fun and making friends and just listening to movies and podcasts. And she did better than me. I don't understand. And then I tell them, I try to explain the effortless English method. I try to explain research. But unfortunately, these students, they obsess so much. They're so obsessed with the exam. They can't hear me. They will. It's frustrating for me. I try to tell them, please study in a different way. Learn in a different way. You will have more fun. Your speaking will improve, and you will even do better on the TOEFL exam than you are now. But they don't listen. The students who are really obsessed about exams, they will not listen. It's like a mental disease. I don't know. It's kind of like some kind of craziness. They're so obsessed. It's all they can think about. So I tell them, try the other method. Try Seiko's method. It's working for her. But they won't listen. They'll say, yeah, okay. And the next day I see them, they have their TOEFL exam book and they're studying the grammar again. And then 2 months later, they take the TOEFL exam and, oh no, I didn't improve very much. Oh, they come back to me. AJ, what should I do? It's the same conversation every time. I have this one student who's Korean who has been doing this for over 1 year. Over 1 year, obsessed with the TOEFL exam, takes the test, does not improve enough, comes back to me, complains, AJ, my TOEFL's not good enough. What should I do? Every time I tell her, well, you should listen to podcasts. You should read interesting books that you like for fun. All the effortless English methods that you know. I tell her, please do this. It will help you. Trust me. And every time she says, and then she ignores me. And she uses the same method again. I see her using her TOEFL book, studying grammar. And then 2 months later, she takes the TOEFL test again. And then, oh God, AJ, my TOEFL test, it didn't go up enough. I didn't improve very much. What should I do? What's wrong? Again and again. This has been happening for 1 year, and she still will not change her methods. And this is really a form of insanity, of craziness. When you keep doing the same thing, and you keep getting a bad result, and you keep using the same method, and you think, maybe this time my result will be different. But again, you get the same result. It's a kind of craziness. And I don't know why, but these exams, these tests can sometimes make people crazy like this. So my advice to you, if you need the TOEFL exam, it's okay. Some of you need it. Some of you want to study grad school in America, for example. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But don't obsess about the test. It will hurt you. You will learn more slowly if you do that. Use the effortless English methods. I guarantee you will learn faster than people who are taking TOEFL classes and studying TOEFL books. Your TOEFL scores will improve better and more and faster than the people who are studying the TOEFL test. I promise you, this is not just my opinion. There's a lot of research about this. The people who focus on the test actually do worse on the test. The people who use effortless methods also do better on tests like the TOEFL exam or the TOEIC. So, you have more fun, you learn faster, you do better on the tests, your pronunciation is better, you become more fluent. Everything is better if you use an effortless system. So don't obsess about these tests, please. Put your TOEFL books to the side, put away your grammar books, use an effortless method, and you will do much better. All right. There's another pep talk for today, I guess. That's the end of the commentary for Obsessive Behavior. I'll see you on the next lesson. Bye-bye.